Hey guys, Half Click Up here. Happy New Year and welcome to my brand new playlist series for 2024 featuring my new to me 2013 Audi A4 Quattro S-Line. So in today's video we're going to be doing a little bit of preventative maintenance, a little bit of a tune-up job, as well as some legitimate maintenance. Long story short, our seal around our magnetic camshaft adjuster is weeping a little bit of oil. So I got this car with 87,000 miles on it, and I've been commuting daily pretty extensively, hour and a half each way. And so I've already in about a month put on 4,000-ish miles on the car. So it's turning right around 92,000 miles now. And I just want to get ahead of a few things and so that they don't become an issue later on. So let's dive right in. We're going to be working with some new Bosch coil packs, Bosch spark plugs. This is a magnetic oil drain plug from ECS Tuning. Got a Hinkst oil filter. We are going to go ahead and replace it. You know, it's one of those situations where anything worth doing is worth doing right. This is a new magnetic camshaft adjuster. Probably don't need it. I have no evidence that the one I'm running factory is malfunctioning, but while I'm in there removing it to replace seals, I might as well just replace the whole thing, and they're not very expensive. Going to also replace the upper timing cover with new gasket and everything, just because we're going to do it right. We're going to do a liquid moly engine flush before we change the oil, and that is about it. It's very tight in here. Got to remove the engine cover, of course. Here's our magnetic adjuster, and if you can see, there is a little bit of weeping and there's a shadow in there, but if you could see underneath it, it's weeping out onto the upper timing cover. We're just going to swap all that out, fresh and new. But yeah, you see the tight quarters in there. I picked up a couple of new wrenches, some little bitty guys that'll be advantageous to get in there.
Hi.
You guys remember False Neutral, right? He's going to be our trusty assistant today. Our cameraman, if you will. All right, man, get the shot. So this little sensor, the thing about the Audi is a lot of these German connectors are all plastic. In fact, they're all plastic. And they'll break easy. And I was just farting around with the first coil pack here. And sure enough, I broke that guy. That's broken. All the rest are still tight. That one, not so much. So there is a guy on YouTube called Naptown Tuner, and he is an Audi technician. He has an entire channel dedicated to Audis. That's his pride and joy. And he has all these little tips and tricks. So when it gets to disconnecting these connectors, we're going to actually use screwdrivers and such to flex on them, which will kind of automatically disconnect these guys without having to manipulate them. That way we don't break them all. 2013 model, remember. So all of this plastic has age to it. So beginning with this guy, for example, this is the sensor for the camshaft actuator. I'm going to push on this instead of pull. And that is going to make this go a lot smoother. There we go. Scoot that guy out of our way for the time being. All right, so here's kind of the tricky part. Again, it's close quarters. You got these Torx screws. By the way, European stuff, everything's Torx. There's one, two, and there's a third one on the bottom. And so we need our special little brand new wrench. Look at this little guy. Isn't he cute? It's a little Craftsman socket wrench. Yep, it's a T30. All right, so there is also a Torx bolt that holds the bottom part of this bracket that's got to come off as well. That's right underneath the oil filter. It'll be great fun getting this back in. There she is. That's a special one. We'll put it up here. It's shorter. Right now, we can wiggle this guy a little bit, like so. Going to gently pry this guy out of here. Okay, so there's going to be a little bit of residual oil you can see down there. So you have this main seal here that seals to the cam bridge, which is the silver ring you see here. Also, part of this job is to replace the little O-ring inside there that provides the seal between the magnetic adjuster and the cam bridge. So now we're going to remove the upper timing cover. All right, so all of these bolts are a 10 millimeter. There's also a Torx provision in there. It's probably a 30. Oh, gonna need an extension. Now the cool part about these is they don't actually come out all the way. They are held by the cover itself. So once you get a good free spin, you're done. Just kind of floats there. You can also see it's a little wet, so it was time to swap this guy out. Now these covers come with the seal. You can buy the seal separately, but something with this kind of age on it, may as well just swap the whole thing out. Classic way to lose a 10 millimeter, by the way. So false neutral has no idea what I'm talking about. There is a classic meme that is rampant amongst mechanics, and it's very applicable, in that the most commonly lost socket is a 10 millimeter, because 10 millimeters are used for the most things, and so they're the easiest to lose. Legend has it 10 millimeter sockets are the similar situation to left socks, in that their disappearance is equally rampant. There it is. All right, all 5 bolts have been loosened up. Theoretically, this guy should come right off. And there we are. So I'm just gonna wipe down the mating surface here. Get that residual oil off of there. Okay, now the little O-ring is in there. We're going to get it out with a pick and replace it with new. So the pick isn't working very well, I think because this is actually the source of our issue, in that it's not very pliable. See how it's acting like a piece of plastic instead of rubber? So this is likely the source of our leak. Oh yeah, it's actually breaking apart. That's interesting. We're gonna have to clean that very carefully.
Dang.
Okay, so see there? That is the source of our weeping oil leak on the upper timing cover. This is supposed to be pliable rubber, and you see, yeah, that is a disaster, and that is the source of our issue. For the bushes. Now, looking back in here, have to be careful. We have other pieces. She came apart dramatically. We want to get that debris out of there, like so. All right, so here's the new O-ring. And obviously, that is what you want. It's supposed to be nice, pliable, soft rubber, not hard, fracturing plastic. So what you want to do is get some of your residual oil here and coat this thing. Get it a little slick so that it slides in nicely. just like that. Now that's a proper O-ring slotted in beautifully, and that's going to provide our renewed seal. And you can feel it when you run your finger around it instead of it being flat, as in worn out plastic. So there we go. Alright, so come to find out, this camshaft adjuster actually is faulty because it's supposed to freely move in and out, right? See that? This guy barely does. In fact, it's very slow to actuate. Not nearly as free. And so that was going to be an issue eventually. Probably would have thrown a code before long. So, good thing we got a new one. All right, new upper timing cover. Remember, bolts are already in place. Go ahead and get some of these started. There's one. There's another. Right, those are the hard ones to get to at the bottom. It's funny, I'm using this same wrench to tighten all these back, but I had to make all these little adjustments and extensions and all that mess to take it off, and I'm not entirely sure why. I guess I could have been using this the entire time, unbeknownst to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Get a shot of that seal all the way around, nice and tight. The bolts also have their own gaskets, which are very flexible. I watched them squeeze in as I tighten up, and so I know that this is not going to be leaking at all. All right, front upper timing cover has been replaced. Now for our new magnetic adjuster. My understanding is that this is how it adjusts its timing in real time. Variable valve timing, something or another. Audi's very fancy. Just double check our O-ring. Still completely seated in place. Nice and pliable, like it should be. We're going to move our faux dipstick out of the way a little bit. Line this guy up. Press her in. Like so. All right, got our holes roughly lined up. Get them started with our cute little Craftsman wrench. Get it barely snug. Now remember, our faux dipstick here is also held in place. Being very careful as to not drop this stupid thing. Thumbs up, by the way. Smash that like button for our assistant false neutral coming in clutch with the camera work. And I apologize about all the shadows. Hopefully it's not absolutely ruining the shot. All right, and our third one This is the one that's a booger. There she goes. And our last guy that holds the faux dipstick in place. This one's going to be tricky. We're going to attempt to use the socket as an extension. T30 socket. Not very easy. All right. Final piece of the puzzle here. Get our connector back in place. Stab it in. Lock it. It's good. All right, folks. So our upper timing cover leak has been addressed. Now let's move on to coil packs and plugs. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to try and gently employ Naptown tuner's technique. All right, so mine are absolutely too brittle to employ that technique. So they're all breaking. Getting ahead of myself. I don't know what that test port's for. This guy has to be taken off. All right. So every one of these little guys if you pull them off and get them out of your way, it'll allow the entire coil pack harness to flip backwards out of your way. And I've already done enough damage on the coil pack harness to where I am very carefully trying to release these without breaking these too. Okay. Now it's very unfortunate that all of that happened. You know? Ridiculous. Very old plastic. That's what it does. Alright, so all of these can now be flexed out of the way. It's incredibly hard to pull off. ECS Tuning makes a coil pack pulling tool, but they were sold out. And it's obvious that these coil packs have never been removed, judging at how difficult this is being.
Oh, that was a loud pop.
There's one. Holy mess. Looking down in there, you can see the spark plug. Look at that.
Ooh.
Let's see if I can't do that again.
I heard it coming out. No, it can sizzle.
Goodness gracious. Try and salvage that. It's more than a bargain for.
I know. Jeez.
All right, guys, fast forward to about an hour later. It was an absolute disaster, total nightmare. This engine, you know, this car is a 2013. This is the first time the coil packs have come out of the car. And apparently what happened over all these years is the boots melted to the insides of the spark plug cylinder walls. And so these rubber grips were melted to the inside. It was an absolute fight to get these out. You see some of them ripped, and I had to use this metal pick to get down in there and get the debris out. Now, it got worse when I got to number 4. So number 1 was very difficult. Number 2 was an absolute nightmare. Number 2 took about 20 minutes to get out. Number 3 was a little bit easier. And number 4 came out easier than number 2, but the only reason why is because the boot tore off inside the cylinder wall because it was that fatigued and melted down. Absolutely incredibly unfortunate that that happened. However, I used the same pick and dug down and around it and pulled it out. It took a while to do, but I got it. In the meantime, various things broke. This guy goes here and bolts here. I'm going to just kind of set it back in there and bolt it down because the little lip still does go inside like so. So I'll salvage that to a degree. Not really worried about that. The important thing is that I was able to get all the coil packs out. Here's the one that ripped. You can see that down in there. Never seen anything like that. So it's like the farther back you went, the more heat soaked the condition was. And anyways, that's behind us. I need to clean out the little cylinder for number 4 a little bit better, and then we'll swap the plugs in. All right, so the way I'm getting all the debris out is with this little vacuum / blower. It's fantastic. You can probably see all that debris coming out. That's how we take care of that, man. Just lucky to have the little tools that I have. All right, we're gonna attempt to get the spark plugs out. Makes you wonder how difficult this is gonna be. So all in all, those don't look terrible. They're, look at that, 92,000 miles worth anyways. So all in all, it's probably for the best that I'm doing all this when I am, because there's just no telling how much worse it would have been later on. They had NGKRs in there. We're going with Bosch double platinums. These are pre-gapped from the factory. That's one. All right. 92,000 mile spark plug. Now when we put these new coils on, we're going to make sure and use the grease supplied by ECS. That'll make your butthole pucker when that happens. Just gotta have some patience. Imagine the disaster if this socket got stuck. So that sticky crap, man. That's what'll get you. All that old residue in there. Just keep her lubed up and clean. The rubber has come off from inside the spark plug adapter.
Oh no.
I've never had a car be such a challenge to work on when it comes to simple maintenance. It's absolutely astounding to me how difficult this process has been. Absolutely astounding. Now, that's my own fault for not putting grease on the tip of the spark plug. Number 3 looks horrible.
Oh dang. Yeah.
Maybe a little lean. Interesting. Very crusty, very squeaky. No, looks better. Still obviously high mileage. All right, kids, number 4. Oops, hang on. And again, this is that melted rubber from the previous boots in the coil packs. And that's not going to help this thing spin inside there any better. So we might as well get it off. Right, all 4 are in. Take a look at our new coil plugs. Bosch red tops. Side-by-side comparison. Factory Bosch. All right, starting with number 1. Whoops, let's not forget our grease. Oh look, they're actually pre-greased.
Oh yeah.
You see that? There's grease in there. A little extra grease never hurt nobody. After that experience, I am not going to jack around. Probably wouldn't hurt just to cover the whole thing with grease, right?
Yeah.
One Give her a wiggle. I can't believe those were so hard to get out of there, man.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that. Now, with the understanding that we tore these up, however, you can watch that orange boot disappear inside these guys, indicating that they are seated. Get every last one of these back in there. All right, so let's see if this guy will still function even though it's broken. And the answer is yes. Yes, it does still function. All right. Bosch coil packs, Bosch spark plugs, the disaster that ensued removing all the crap, and she's all buttoned back up together. Upper timing cover, all new gasket seals, magnetic camshaft adjuster, brand new, with new interior O-ring. You guys saw the disaster that was the old one, so that leak is taken care of. Let's start the car and see if it runs. Purrs like a kitten. Of course, we're looking for any obvious leaks. Everything is buttoned up very tight, so there shouldn't be issue. We've confirmed that the new spark plugs as well as the coil packs are firing perfectly. We'll wait for the high idle to come down, like so. Doesn't even have a visible vibration, does it? No. Outstanding. All right, fast forward a full week, because the day that we did all of that maintenance, it got really cold really fast because we lost daylight, and I didn't want to risk the footage being terrible because of the lighting conditions. So here we are a week later, at an opportunity to drive the car to and from work, several hundred miles worth over the past week, and I'm happy to report that she pulls smoother under boost, which I'm excited about. So that goes to show you that these coils and plugs were indeed an upgrade, right? Maybe not performance upgrade, but maybe, sorta. Anyways, I like it. So today, still in the same video, we're gonna do the oil change. Again, so what we have here is a Hingst filter. Got a jug of Motul, because Motul all the things. New clutch washer, and a magnetic drain plug from ECS Tuning. And the subject of the next 15 minutes or so, liquid moly engine flush. Who knows what kind of gunk and grime and crud she has accumulated over the past 92,000 miles. So what you do is you take this stuff. I've already driven the car up and down the highway, got it up to temperature. We're going to dump this in the crankcase, and we're going to fire her up and let her idle for 10 to 15 minutes, and then we're going to change the oil. Already got the ramps in place. We'll just pull her up and get after it. Here we go. All right. Pop this guy off of there. Dump her in. Smoking. Cap her back off. Start her up, let her idle. right, boys, set a timer. All right, let's get under her skirt for the first time. So there's this factory skid plate, and it's some torques and different things. And I guess the entire thing needs to come off. I'm not entirely sure. I will start with these guys that actually cover the oil pan and see if I can get away with that. All right, so skid plate's out. Wasn't that big of a deal. It's a little nasty. It's not wet though, so that's a good thing. It has seen over its 10 years of life, you know, some impacts. Yep. Might do me some good to replace this one day. Maybe go with that awesome metal one from ECS Tuning. So it's interesting. These Audis have skid plates like protective armor that runs all underneath the car. So there's an entire plate that protects the transmission in the trans tunnel. The front bolts were all a hodgepodge. I don't know. These two were 30s, T30s. And then the ones on the back where it connects to the transmission skid plate, these were all matching. So that was cool. But I don't know what happened up front, man. You know, that's the thing about used cars. You just never know. Surprisingly, both of these thread in-ish. Of course, there's some missing too. So I'll find out what's supposed to go in there, and I'll replace all of the front mount ones soon enough. So, so the only bad thing, man, is I can't stand the camera up underneath here. There's not enough room. And so just for S&Gs and for content purposes, there the oil pan is, there the drain plug is, and it's a T something or another. It's huge. So it's a T45, by the way. Ooh. Cool. There we go. Crap. Scoot over. Scoot over, man. Watch out. What a frickin' mess. Probably got it all over the camera. God, got it all over me. That oil doesn't look that bad. You know, kind of backing up on what I was talking about just a second ago. We didn't consider, I didn't consider the fact that engine flush was in that oil. So I guess what I'm saying is that oil is supposed to be thinner by design per the engine flush. So the fact that we could see through the oil has no bearing on the actual condition of the oil. So I stand corrected after giving it further thought. Didn't consider the engine flush being in the oil. So this is an interesting design. The oil filter is on top of the engine, which at first glance, you're like, well, that's going to make a damn mess. And it very well may. I don't know yet. But you'd like to think, that's very hot, by the way. Ow. You'd like to think that if you slowly remove the thing, which I think its threads are done. Is it still coming up? Or does it pull off? I don't know. It's hot. First time with a German car, boys. I apologize. It's still unthreading. Okay, here he comes. Kind of rambling, I know. Here she comes. It's got to be spring loaded. That's what that is. It's spring loaded. All right, so that doesn't make a mess at all. Fascinating. Yeah, I feel like that should just sit there for a second, though. You know, I guess since it's operating and functioning upside down all the time, it would make sense that you wouldn't have any excess because it's always draining down. Right, boys? Gravity? So how can you avoid a mess? Oh, crap. Ah, that's so hot, dude. Hold on. Okay. Ah, it didn't make a mess at all. That's crazy. Like, what an interesting design. I'm not going to appreciate that, you know? No fuss, no mess. No mess, no fuss. By the way, our upper timing cover, swap, replacement, all the things, 100% successful. Happy about that. No leaks. It's awesome. Look, magnets work. Oh. I'm going to go with 14. Hey! That shade tree mechanic's eye, huh? Look at that. Bam! Needs a friggin' crush washer. Like that. Yeah. Awesome. That ought to catch any bad things that happen inside the crank and whatnot. Voila. All right. So I don't know if they planned it by design for their logo to kind of align perfectly so you can read it and it's not upside down. I don't know, but that is awesome. By the way, you see that blue paint up there? It's interesting that blue paint is actually on the OEM drain bolt as well. So you know how sometimes people will put a mark on something just to see if it's been tampered with? I'm not sure what the history is there, but somebody marked a line of blue paint down the oil pan onto the OEM bolt. I don't know what they were doing. They were tracking something. I don't know. Who knows? But anyways, let's put oil in the thing. Don't forget to clean this guy up. Hengst. Pretty. Don't forget to pre-oil. That's hot. Pre-oil your seal here. Always remember to do that. Spins on real nice. And you can feel it depress some sort of a spring in there. You can hear it too. I don't know, man. Whatever you say, Audi. I'm just gonna roll with it. That ought to do that. Yep. Yeah, Motul all the things, boys. So a buddy of mine was telling me about how there are awesome little funnel kits that will like screw right onto this weird contraption that is a German oil spout. And the thing about it is, they're like friggin' $60, man. I don't know about that. $60 for a funnel. I get it though. And of course, if I'm making an absolute freaking mess here in a second, then I will have wished I spent $60 on an oil funnel. Yep. So I wonder if automotive Motul smells as good as motorcycle Motul. And motorcycle Motul is red and smells like shampoo. Yeah. It's got an aroma to it, but it's not quite as sweet. Let's give it a shot, see if we can't make a freaking mess. So far, so good, boys. It's not red either, like motorcycle Motul. This stuff is very light honey colored. So this is 8100 X Clean in 5W40. Factory viscosity call is 5W40. And this stuff is 502 compliant and 505 compliant. You know, it's compliant with all the VW Audi things. Now this engine takes 4.9 quarts, which is essentially a full gallon. All right, filters in, plugs in, oil's in. Let's see if the damn thing will start. Well, she appears to be happy. Let's check for leaks. Looks good to me, man. Yep. All right, let's get the skid plate back on. There you go. Well, it's been an adventure. I can't say it was 100% fun, but it was 100% successful. And sometimes, guys, that's all we can ask for. So, please, by all means, with the understanding that I am brand new to the Audi platform, I would appreciate comments and suggestions down below. Tell me where I screwed up. And by the way, I did discover that for about 80 bucks, I can replace the coil pack harness loom as well as the connectors with genuine Audi parts. So that's likely something I'm going to do here soon, just so that I have the peace of mind knowing that my connectors are all intact and that they're not all just chewed up like you saw happen. So anyways, guys, if you enjoy this new series, who knows where it's going to go. There's a plethora of performance parts available for the 2.0T platform. They're all very expensive too, so we'll see. We'll see where we go. Maybe some bolt-ons, I don't know. Again, if you enjoy Audi content on a Yamaha FZ6R YouTube channel, drop a comment down below and let me know. As always, guys, this has been me. That's been you. It's Have to Look Up. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Goodbye.